Guys, there's a lot of news today, and there's one story I think we should definitely get to before we jump to the members half, because it is quite the story. I mean, it takes, I have no pleasure in reporting this, but Steve Bannon might be getting the death penalty.
Yeah,
for those who haven't been watching since 2016, why don't you explain what that means, Matt?
That is the classic Louise Mensch tweet where she said that she had sources who told her that Steve Bannon was being considered for the death penalty for espionage. And of course, she was pro-life and took no pleasure in reporting that. Now, I, on the other hand, do take great pleasure in reporting this. And that is Steve Bannon has been, felony fraud, basically. He was taken in by the United States Postal Service agents, which I love. That's just
fighting back.
So much greater.
And he was on a yacht when it happened.
Right. Is it a yacht, or was it more like one of those like boats that you see someone living on in the beginning of a movie when they're down on their luck? And
houseboat.
Might have been more of a boat. I don't know.
Right. But it seems like that boat, I think that might be the boat that was purchased with the funds that he is being indicted on, I guess, in terms of the fraud charges. Him and three other people, one of them being the founder of the We Build That Wall project, the one where they basically raised $25 million off the backs of Trump supporters by convincing them that if Trump couldn't get the funds for his border wall through Congress, then, they'll just do the obvious thing and fund it themselves, which, that's how it works, right, guys? That's just
individualism.
Right. Yes. And do we have any clips for that? I think we have a few, actually. We definitely have one. The Trump.
It's like, what if mutual aid, but bad?
Right. Oh, this is Trump being asked, because this was just breaking this morning, the morning of Thursday, August 20th, 2020. And so Trump is doing his, I guess, morning conference with the press, and he gets asked this question.
The indictment of your former campaign aide, Steve Bannon.
Well, I feel very badly. I haven't been dealing with him for a long period of time, as most of the people in this room know. He was involved in our campaign. He worked for Goldman Sachs. He worked for a lot of companies, but he was involved likewise in our campaign and for a small part of the administration very early on. I haven't been dealing with him at all. I know nothing about the project other than when I read about it, I didn't like it. I said, this is for government. This isn't for private people. And it sounded to me like showboating, and I think I let my opinion be very strongly stated at the time. I didn't like it. It was showboating and maybe looking for funds, but you'll have to see what happens. I think it's a very sad thing for Mr.
I guess
Bannon.
I think he just rambles on and repeats himself.
It's a sad thing for sloppy Steve.
It's not surprising whatsoever that someone who had connections with the Trump administration, was formerly part of the Trump administration, would be arrested for fraud. I mean, really, it's the most unsurprising thing.
That's a good, if you can get those odds in Vegas, you ride them.
Right. I mean,
if your money was on Corey Lewandowski, you would have been correct as the last one to get not be arrested.
I want to talk about this organization a little bit and some of the other individuals involved in the Build the Wall PAC. Steve Bannon was arrested for being involved in as chairman. Advisory board includes Eric Prince, former Colorado Congressman Tom Tancredo, Sheriff Dave Clark, and former pitcher. What former pitcher? We know which former pitcher it is. Do we know?
Game developer too.
The one with the video. I can't remember.
Kurt Schilling.
Schilling, yeah.
Yeah, some testimonials they got from Louis Gohmert, Corey Lewandowski, Kim Guilfoyle, and Trump Jr. So I don't think you can get indicted for testimonials, but I will just say, Bannon is one thing. Eric Prince going down would be beautiful. So Godspeed to this investigation. Yeah. I hope you guys, I want Eric Prince.
You guys will like this. Mike Cernovich was promoting this shit too.
Oh, I'm sure he was. I mean,
the funny thing though, I gotta add this one really funny thing. He was trying to fight back against all the people who were tweeting at him for being part of this. And his excuse was basically, How can I be a grifter when I keep losing money? Ask my ex-wife. The one who bankrolls his entire life.
His alimony, yeah.
Yes. So go ahead, Jamie. I just had to add that before we got any further.
If you're the answer to that question is like, if you have a subsidy from like, say, someone like that, you can afford to be bad at grifting and still grift. Like that's that's how this country works. This is how a whole bunch of incompetent people with a subsidy from some, nest egg or another, they just get to waltz through life doing the thing because they have the money to continue doing it. It's not because they're good at it.
Yeah, grifting doesn't necessarily mean success. You just take money from people. There's no added necessary addendum that requires you do good for yourself with the money. Go ahead, Jamie.
I mean, Trump himself has not done a very good job growing his inherited wealth. I think if he had just put it in a mutual fund or something, it would have grown much more than it did in all his stupid business deals. He's actually
but where's the fun in that, Jamie? Where's the fun in that?
You don't get to have dinner with Mike Tyson that way.
People want to talk shit on Paris Hilton, but she's done a much better job growing her inherited wealth into some kind of little business there. And also, I think Trump is just pissed he didn't get a taste. Like, part of this is him being totally unafraid to throw people under the bus, but part of it is like...
It's like, I can't.
No, I know why he's throwing us under the bus. And it's true, actually. I looked this up. Now, he didn't come out and denounce the project when they were in the midst of raising funds back in what I think was like 2018. I couldn't find anything where he said anything about the project then.
Right.
But a few months ago, he did denounce the project, and here's why. Remember when there was that bit of information in the news, that news story that a piece of the border wall in Texas had fallen over?
Oh, yeah.
That was not actually Trump's border wall. That was whatever little piece of border wall these guys put up. So they made Trump look bad in the news, and that's why he had to come out and say,
no.
he even said when he denounced it, I think this is a bunch of people trying to make me look bad. If you look at the people who funded this thing, it's all of his biggest supporters. These guys love him. I mean, but he had to denounce them because the number one thing, the number one rule for Donald Trump is got to make me look good and or give me credit for whatever it is that's making you look good.
There's a lesson for all of us there in how, yes, the federal government should take care of these big projects. Obviously not the wall. Let's build a big highway for people to come in. But climate change, for instance, is not us banding together as individuals and maybe doing some donations to an NGO. The government made this problem by basically creating the fossil fuel industry as the demon it is today. It needs to fix it. So.
Are you saying the government needs to fix immigration too, Matt?
In the sense that we need no borders and everyone can just go everywhere, right?
That's right. That's right. Do we have the video of Don Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, these guys must really hate Trump, right?
And thank you guys for being here. Brian, thank you so much for all your sacrifices, doing this and showing really what capitalism's all about, right? This is private enterprise at its finest, doing it better, faster, cheaper than anything else. And what you guys are doing is pretty amazing. It started from a grassroots effort, and it's just doing some wonderful things for an important issue.
Right, that's what capitalism's all about.
Sleeping in the basement tonight.
Wow.
I just feel like his dad can make him sleep in the basement anytime he's embarrassed him.
I've never seen a group of people who hate me more than that clip right there.
It is a perfect example of capitalism at work, I must say. Don Jr. is right about that. You have this tiny group of elite parasites sucking the resources of regular people or, small business tyrants who own Ski-Doo dealerships or whoever donated to this thing solely for their own benefit. And yes, the project they were doing would also not have benefited the public. So it's one of those rare cases where we don't have to feel bad for anyone.
Yeah. There's one more cherry on top to close this story that I just saw. And that is that the boat that was purchased with the funds sent to this nonprofit or this PAC, whatever it is, to fund the wall, that boat took part in one of the big boater parades for Trump that he was boasting.
Oh, nice.
Of course. Hey, you got your fleet. You have to move
That's
ships
a business.
around.
That's a write-off then, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's really it's the circle of grift. Like this whole thing was so perfectly. It was like I put a bow on it. It's like a perfect circle.
I mean, yeah. Alex Perrine had an article like years ago. I mean, in the past couple of years, but on like how basically the party's just grifters now. That the long lucrative right wing grift is blowing up in the world's face. That's the there you go.
I think I speak for most prison abolitionists when I say the story has me feeling some very complicated feelings.
All right. Well, yeah, who knows what's going to happen with these guys? I'm sure they'll find a way out of it, so you won't have to really adjust your feelings much, I'm sure. They'll find a way to get a slap on the wrist and avoid jail time. Maybe they'll have to spend a few months in their homes with a little bracelet around their ankle at most. I mean, I'm not familiar, but it doesn't seem like that much of a that far to pull in terms of just me guessing that's going to be the.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Oh, yeah, hopefully.
The carceral state is not designed to go after the ruling class, folks. It's only designed to go after the proletariat. That's why we can't be strengthening it and funding it, because they're not putting Steve Bannon in jail.